Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Leilui Nishmat Ruspas Mordechai. I always say we have a tremendous guest. We have a lot of guests today. But one person who's a huge part of the shir, big surprise, Murad Nakash is in the house. Rabbi Isai, big welcome. From sponsoring the Steinbeker Recha Targum Chumash, hundreds, from sponsoring thousands of Gemaras out there. I don't know, over the years, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So Yishkoyach Murad, sponsoring the Siyum and Deal, v'chulu. Yishkoyach Gitl for coming. It's a big schus. Who else do we have? Rosh Koil, who's next to you? Chaim Milzin from? Brooklyn. You sound very familiar. That's where I know you're from. Okay, very nice. Shukar for coming. How long have you been with the shir? All right, I don't want to put you on the spot. How long? Usually people know the exact date. You know what I mean? Yivamis. Okay, fine. There's a few other people. Oh, Mandelbaum? Shalom Aleichem, you're Avi's brother. Zechrona Bracha. What's your name? What's your first name again? Yossi. And you started the Daf Leilui Nishmat Avi. No? Like right when he was nifter. When he fell into coma. Nazir Daf Mem. Here you go, you see? And so you picked it up for him and you got stuck.
I'm called stuck.
No, you weren't. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. All right, there's a few other people. Yishkoyach. Eli Rosen is here. Rosen, Shalom Aleichem, Eli. Does the daf every day, lives in the neighborhood. Second time here, maybe, right? All right, every day, Be'ezer Hashem. As I was walking in here, Rabbi Pessin came over to me and gave me this beautiful set. He's, Mechaber Sfarim. It's called Guidance from Above. It's questions that he asked from Chaim Kanievsky, and he pointed out to me that on the back, there's a picture of MDY. Because MDY is one of the questions I went to ask Reb Chaim Kanievsky if we should open, and 8-minute daf, etc. It's in there somewhere. Rabbi Isai, a couple of emails. I just began Daf Yomi with MDY at the beginning of Kiddushin. I was quite inspired by your ad. It gave me a push that I can do it. I still identify as a ben yeshiva, but I needed to leave Koil a year and a half ago to go to work. I felt my learning was not doing so well. But now with your shir, I feel back in it. Thank you for delivering the shir with clarity and giving me chizik to join. Looking forward to the next 7.5 years at least. Abba Hill, Winteraz, something like that. Jackson, New Jersey. So Stam, to address this issue, should we address over and over. B'nai Yeshiva. Most of us learned in Yeshiva. And as we leave Yeshiva and go into the workforce, we feel like we have to continue with the Yeshiva style. And we try it. And sometimes it doesn't really go well. And then we fall, and it's like an all or nothing kind of thing. Either I'm going to learn Be'iyun, or I'm not going to learn at all. And a lot of people I speak to say, yeah, I only learned Iyun. So I said, no, when was the last time you opened the Gemara? 10 years ago. But when I'm going to open up the Gemara again, it's going to be Be'iyun. Shkoyach. Point is, chap around as much as you can. It's something you're not used to. But as long as you learn one halacha a day, one musik a day, it's a different world. So you get used to it. And Be'ezer Hashem, you find the chavrusa for Iyun also. But this Daf Yomi is a lifesaver. There's a kid trying to do the good morning, but he's still better than my next clip right afterwards. Here we go. Yeah. No, I sound more like this guy right here. This I took in Africa. I might have shown it, but the comparison. I took this because he was sewing clothes in the street without electric. He had like a hand-operated Singer sewing machine from the 20s.
Same time. Good morning, Rabosai. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good morning, Rabosai.
Awesome. But together he's not saying it. I need both. You ready? Takes off his yarmulke.
1, 2, 1, 2. Good morning, Rabosai.
Yeah, thank you. Just the way they live. Oh, unbelievable. Okay. This Rabbi Yosef was from our Siyum. Listen. Okay, so I was saying this was during our scene. We stopped for a few minutes. How long was it? 10, 15 minutes. We made phone calls. We got about 30 people to rejoin. And I'm saying Ger Shiro's got somebody to rejoin. Baruch Hashem, whoever got to rejoin already has some kindness. Hi, Rav Eli. I've just joined your family for the first time thanks to Ger Shiro's constant statuses, and I'm really loving it so far. One thing I'm struggling with, and I'm sure the 300 others that have just joined, actually, we gave out 2,100 Gemaras for Kiddushin. Over 1,400 people joined. And we only had one sponsor for the Gemaras, so the other could step it up if you want. Yesterday when I said about the don't try to put $1 into our pushka anymore, so somebody put $100 bill in. So the joke was already worth it. Who knows about this Gemara? Maybe somebody step it up, put a couple hundred Gemaras in there. One thing I'm struggling with, and I'm sure the 300 others who joined are also struggling with, what on earth is this all about? Yosef Bernhardt, Manchester, United Kingdom. I don't know. Can't explain it. But if I don't do it, get all the emails and all the... Jack Garzi's in the house? What's going on? The whole deal? Get over here, Jack. Get over here. Oh, I said, this is, Bar Mitzvah Bacher. Come in. This is the latest talks, the podcast, the Yiddish podcast. It says over here, over 15,000 views in like 3 days, whatever it was. So it's even people that don't speak Yiddish, they watch the podcast and they just listen to the answers in English. I get, and you learn Yiddish on the way. And the guys that are watching in Yiddish, they learn English on the way. It's a win-win situation. Come, Jack, where are you? Got to see you over here with the Bar Mitzvah Bacher. The Koil sponsored, May We Merit the Crown Hashem. The Koil week, I didn't know that you guys are coming. What is this, a surprise? Any other surprises? I don't want to, I can't take that many surprises in one day. Come sit down. Come, Bar Mitzvah Bacher. Come, first come over here. Rabbi said, this is Jack Garzi. He's the one that instituted the daily giving, or what is it called? What do we call it? MDY monthly. Daily giving is a different thing. It's also a beautiful thing.
I didn't do anything about it.
Jack told me once, he said, listen, in the Syrian community, it's unbelievable. Everybody gives, what is it, $1 a day or something?
$26. $100 a month.
No, each person gives $100 a month.
Yeah, it's supposed to be $26.
Yeah, and it went up to 100?
It's $100 a month.
How do we get everybody in MDY to give $100 a month?
More advertising.
So anyways, then when you have a chasana with needy people, you give them how much?
It was supposed to be $26 times 1,000 people.
Is that $49,000? Because I went to Panovich. No, it's $26,000. I got it. No, so $26,000 a person?
Per wedding.
Bam.
Yeah.
But you have to be Syrian. Bam. Okay, so wait a minute. So you try to take that idea and bring it to MDY. Yes. That people should give every month and this, and Baruch Hashem, a lot. We have how many people that are doing it now?
A lot.
How many?
300-400,
no? Are giving every month.
Yeah.
Hashem. Okay, so Yishkoyach Gadol. Shall have a lot of nachas from your son. What's your name, Tzaddik? Victor. What's your Jewish name?
Chaim.
Thank you. Chaim. Shalom Aleichem, Victor Chaim. Wait, is your bar mitzvah already?
Yeah, can I?
Whoa, bye bye yoim. Wow, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Victor. I Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov. Yay, Lanu, Lachol, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov. Yeah. All right, Rabbi side, it's beautiful. You should see a lot of nachas from him, Jack. Amen. All right, did we say the koil? I don't remember anymore. The koil sponsored. May we merit the crown Hashem. The koil of the week, Mishpachas Rubenstein Lezech Nishmas Abimori Baruch Ben Leib. The Masechta is sponsored by Lakewood NJ families, Lakewood, New Jersey, because torah and achdus are the best segula. Parnas HaChodesh. Bracha. I was thinking now to myself, people should donate a Gemara a month. Gemara a month, MDY. Give Aldik.
Yeah.
It's like $36. And if you're from Deal, you do 3. $100 to that and $100 to this. If you weren't here when we were in Deal, we did a Siman deal. No, we would give to each person in Klal Yisrael learn. I say the story all the time. Now you'll tell me it's not 100, but we went in there. We got to start learning. Went to the shul, and a guy got an aliyah, and in Misha Beirach, he gave $5,000 to this, I don't remember the numbers anymore. 5,000 to this, 5,000 to this. I was like, wow, $15,000. Then the next guy got Revi, and he goes, $50,000 to this, $50,000 to this, and $50,000. I was like, wow. And then I got an aliyah. They're like, matana. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Oh no, we're not even there yet. Parnas HaChodesh. Bracha Bilei Dei Hayom. My name is Baruch Tzvi Nissim ben Shoshana Leah. Parnas HaChodesh. Dr. Avrum Epstein, who memory of the 3 years that his beloved Raiza Gitl bas Zeav. Parnas HaChodesh Mordechai ben Esther for a complete Refuah Shalema Kar. Parnas HaChodesh Leah Nishmat bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh Leah Nishmat Avrum Levi ben Esther and Gabriel ben Yaminov. Parnas HaChodesh in honor of Rav Eli Shas and all the empty wires. Parnas HaChodesh Leah Nishmat Zachar ben Moshe. Leah Nishmas Hadara Sara bas. Rabbi say, bad news. Our very dear friend Talman from the Five Towns lost his daughter yesterday. 3-year-old daughter. I spoke to him on the phone. Terrible, terrible tragedy. Second, Parnas Hayoim. Yaakov Zaret, Refuah Shalema for Binyamin Le Ben Chaya Pesha. Parnas Hayoim. By Nesanel, not Nesanel Ganz, in honor of a special guest today.
I have to change the wording so you wouldn't get cut.
Ah, it is Nesanel Ganz.
No, it's a special guest. You put his name in. What's the name of his phone?
Who's Nesanel? Oh, that's a different story. Okay.
Special guest. Yeah.
We have a lot of special guests, but okay. Whoever you are. Dar of the month, Yosef and Chaya Sara, for all the schusim that come from supporting Nisim Torah. I'm assuming it's Mirada Kash. It says not Nesanel Ganz and the best friends. Okay, fine. Zog the Eli Gemara. We are holding on. No, that's yesterday's daf. Today's daf test. Iskachli b'kikar. 3 lines from the bottom. A man tells a woman, "Here's a loaf of bread. Be mekudesh to me." She says, "Tnei la'ani." Give it to the poor person. Eina mekudeshes. She's making fun of him. She says, "You know what? Give it to somebody else. I don't need your Kiddushin. I don't want your Kiddushin. Give it to a poor person." Says Gemara, "Afilu ani asamach aleh." Even if this is a poor person that constantly eats by her, and now she's saving a meal, it's also not a Kiddushin. My taima. Just like I have a chiv to give him parnas, to give him food, you have the same chiv. Male, it's not a Kiddushin. I just want to take this opportunity to thank somebody that was very, very nice to me and my family. When my mother, Aleh Shalom, was sick, it was the last weeks of her life. It was Erev Pesach. She was only 49 years old and she was dying. And when you have somebody like that in the house, everybody's upside down. Nobody was cooking, nothing. We didn't even care about the food for Pesach. It wasn't even on our... The knock on the door, and Reb Moshe Mosbacher from Muncie came in with all the food for all the meals, meat and fish and everything packed perfectly with all the desserts, everything. And turns out that he has in his backyard, he has commercial ovens, literally in the backyard, some of them an open place, freezer. He sits there for weeks making food, tens of thousands of meals for many, many people in Muncie. There's people out there, Bali Chesed, Pashut lifesavers, tzaddikim, who go out there and give food to the aniyim, to people who need. I'm going to skip the story because we started a little late. We have another story here, but okay. Remind me a different time. Rav Zaid. How Gavra? The Gemara is more interesting, trust me. How Gavra, the Havakam is Zabin, Chumrei, Psachioso. Here it is, here's the picture. Basically, either, if you look at Rashi, look at the first word in Rashi, Chumrei, buttonish. Buttons, says Rashi. Here's a close-up of what it might look like. Tin buttons or glass pieces. So if you go back to here, now you understand what this is. He's selling these necklaces of buttons of some sort. Comes along a woman. Give me a necklace. One of those. If I give you one, will you marry me? Hava mehava, just give it to me. So what does that mean? Just give it to me, or whatever the exact lashon is. Give it. Who? It's nothing. She was just saying, just do your job. Stop trying to marry people here. I came to buy a necklace. Give me a necklace. Give me the necklace. Shalom Yisrael. What are you doing? Says the Gemara, a similar story. a guy was drinking wine at the bar. Give me a cup of wine. If I give you a cup of wine, will you become Kudeshes to me? Same kind of loss. Just give me a cup of wine. The Maisa Shahaya here in Tel Aviv, two people came into a bar. They started schmoozing, and a guy sitting next to him, he hears the whole story, and he hears one of them saying, "Where are you from?" "From New York." "Well, I'm also from New York." "Where?" He says, "Lower East Side." "Lower East Side, I'm also." It turns out that they live in the same building. So the guy overheard this and he says, "It's unbelievable. You come all the way to Eretz Yisrael and you meet here in the Mamish Hashgacha Pratis." And the bartender says, "Mishugana, you don't see the drunk? It's a father and son." Okay. Zok the Gemara, what does that have to do with the Sugi of Mendi? Okay, you're getting it. Just saying this lashon, it's a lashon of zilzul. Just give me. I don't want to get married to you. Just give it to me. She didn't say give it to me so I should get married. Just give me a cup of wine. Oh, Rabbi Isai, we have a good one here. Mamish. Check this out. It's good art today. Good art. You see the story, and then we'll see in the Gemara. Give me 2 clusters, please. If I give you, will you marry me? And then what happens? Do throw them to me. Okay. Goes weiter. Somebody's wrong. Okay. Every time I show one of these, I just take a look at Mendy. The Derech Klal is going to be a look of disappointment. I could have done better. Okay. Anyway, you don't have to understand it, but you'll always remember the sugya. So what happened was, let's see inside. There's somebody that was cutting dates off a palm tree. Comes a woman. Give me 2 dates. Okay, deal. I'll give you 2, but you have to get married to me. Just throw them to me. She was just saying, give me 2 dates. She didn't say, I'm asking to marry you. So Tais just points out that the Gemara brings 3 different cases. One is a case of just Hana having a necklace, the other is a case of food, and the other, the one in the bar, is a case of drinking. But in all, it doesn't matter what kind of Hana it is. She was just saying, just give it to me, and Shalom Yisrael, it's nothing. Have Ashki Ujdei Mao. What if she didn't say Miav Mahava? She didn't say the double lashon, have Miava. She just said one lashon, give it to me. Give. Or Ashki, give me to drink. She didn't say Ashuki Ashki. She didn't say a double lashon. In that case, it's not clear that she's making fun. In that case, she means, yes, I accept the Kiddushin. Rav Sam bar Rakto Omar, Toged Malka, I swear on the crown of the king, Enum Kudeshes. No way. There's no difference. Once, twice. What she's saying here is just give me your product, and I'm not Mekudesh to you. It's a good thing that halacha is like him. He swore on a crown. Baruch Hashem, halacha is like him. No Kiddushin. We said yesterday, if somebody's Mekadesh with silk, and here we'll just show it again. We have the machlokes when it's worth 50, and he didn't say bekoldu. He just said, here it is. The 50. It's 50. It's worth 50, and he said it's 50. Do you need a professional assessor? So lo yitzricha shuma. So it's very interesting. Is that halacha only by shiroi, by silk, or it's by everything? You and I read the Gemara. It says you don't need shuma, you don't need an appraisal. It says Taisus, no. It's by shiroi that most people know the value of silk. But let's say a diamond ring, no one knows the value unless you're Mendy, talking about Mendy. Unless you're a diamond dealer, you don't know how can you know what a diamond, you don't know. You don't even know if it's a diamond or not. So in that, Taisa says you do need Shuma. And he explains, and that's why we're not Mekadesh with rings that have valuable stones in them, because you need a Shuma on it, and she can't be Gomer Dash. She doesn't know, are you giving me a diamond ring, or are you giving me, what is it called?
Cubic zirconia.
Zirconia, but it's better than that. What's the other one called? No, we're not going to talk about it because they'll knock that. Huh? CVD? The one that's made in the lab. It's very even the pros. Not that. That you could tell. The lab stone. Okay. What about a kala? The Ramah talks about the kala that covers her head completely. So she's not gomer das on anything. So I mentioned yesterday, the Ramah talks about, that's why you asked the Eidim, is this worth a pruta? Yes. Like this, she's soymach das on the pruta of it, not that it's worth more. But if she doesn't see anything, there's certain communities that's 100%, you can't, it's like a brick wall. So we don't have to worry about Shuma in that case, because she's not gomer das on anything. She doesn't see it. There's a Maisa with Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. I found this story frustrating / interesting. A bacher told his kala that he insists on giving her a silver ring because a pikabala, you should be mekadosh with a silver ring. So she said she doesn't want to hear about it. She should take his kabbalah and leave it in yeshiva. But now they're getting married. She needs a gold ring. What's silver? Is she going to walk around with silver? Absolutely not. And that was their first big fight. So they decided to go to Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Now, if I was Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, I'll take this guy, put him over the table, and start whacking him. That's what I thought he's going to do. I was sure that was going to... No. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach looked at her and said, listen, it's a good idea. He's right. Use a silver ring. Now you, Chassan, you need to buy her a gold ring afterwards. Give it to her in the Cheder Yichud. And he took out a checkbook and he wrote him a check for the amount of the gold ring. I would break the shidduch, whatever, but that's just me. I don't know. Is anybody else upset about the story? What? Okay. Why can't you just be mivater? Kabbalah. Okay. I'll be Kabbalah. You should be nice to your kala also. I don't know. It's another. That's not Kabbalah. That's in the Torah. That's in the Torah. So we have to be more mocking on the Kabbalah. Okay, fine. Maybe it is. Does anybody hear about the Kabbalah thing? And she probably thought it's white gold.
Exactly.
Okay, so people are doing it. You're saying with the eagle. I got it. Okay, fine. Saying it's great until there's a big fight about it. Once there's a fight, I don't know. Fine. V'hilchasa says the Gemara Kireb Elazar. If a person says, I want to be mekadosh with 100, and all he gives her is 1, we said, the Kiddushin is chal right this second, then he just has to fulfill his tonight. V'chasakarava, Omar of Nachman, that if a person is mekadosh a woman with 100, and then instead of that he gives her collateral, he gives her security, mana inkan, mashkin inkan, it doesn't work. Torah Banon, b'shtar keitzad. How does it work? How do you mekadosh a woman with the shtar? I've never seen it. I don't think they do it anymore. The husband writes on a piece of paper or even on a worthless piece of earthenware, a broken shard. Has nothing, no value. And we're talking about either a ktana or a nara, up to 12 or 12 and a half, up to 12 and a half. Because now he's talking to the father. Your daughter. That's what he writes on the piece of paper. Your daughter is mekudesh to me. Another lashon bitchum resesli bitchol into lili into should be my wife. Harizim mekudeshes, that works. Masgular is there by mam. The father's mekabel kiddushin here. Yeah. Masgular is there by mam. Holy domi ishtara. He has a general question. How could the husband write the shtar? Holy domi ishtara l'shtar zvine. This doesn't resemble a regular shtar when you buy something. Typically speaking, the seller is the one that writes the document. And over here, the husband writes, your daughter, the husband's the one writing it. The purchaser, so to speak, the buyer is writing the shtar and not the seller. Amarava, I'll tell you why. Hasam in Yana Dekra, Vacham in Yana Dekra. It has to do with what the pasuk says. Hasam ksiv umachar machuzasai. That the person is selling from his field. Over and over, kikach. The husband is the one that's acquiring the Baal Tal Rachmana. It's dependent on the husband. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. You purchase, you're the buyer, you buy a field with money. Says the Gemara, if so, we have two psukim that kind of contradict each other. Is it the seller doing it or the buyer? So let's just take the pasuk of B'Solis because Yiknu, Karibei Yaknu, shall be sold too. Again, referring to in other words, we want to emphasize the seller versus the buyer. We're going to get a little bit more into it. My time of cars be Yaknu. Why are you doing something like that? Why are you changing a nakuda, the nakudas? Instead of a chirik, you put a patach. Changes the meaning of the word. Because it says, and he sold. Says Gemara Chanami, by Kiddushin also, you should also change the word yikach to yakach. That the kala is giving herself, yakach. The chsiv is beaten osati l'shazeh. Also, the father of the girl, he gives over his daughter to the husband. It's more in the kala's rishos, not the husband. The bottom line is, these are all good kashas, and there's a few doichaks here. So therefore, we have to come to a conclusion. Hilchas Aninu. Moshe Rabbeinu said this over on Har Sinai. He said that when you buy a field, the seller is the one that initiates. Some Rishonim say also, he said that when it comes to Kiddushin, the husband does it. It's not a pasuk. This we received orally from Moshe Rabbeinu. They try to find a remez in the Torah. They say, oh look, it says kiikach, it says umachar. But we knew this halacha way before that. It says, here's the pasuk. This is Yirmiyahu. Yirmiyahu, Perek Lamed Beis. He says, Va'eknes asada me'is chanamel. Yirmiyahu, I bought the field from Chanamel, my cousin. And then it says, Va'ekach ha-sefer ha-miknah. So, Va'ekach, I'm going to take the sefer ha-miknah from Chanamel, who sold me the field. So you see another pasuk that it's the seller that writes it. V'amarav Nachman. Now, Chosav loy alaniyar. Over here, he wrote to the father. Before we write it, he said, what was the lashon? Yeah, over here. Chosav loy alaniyar. Oy alacheres, he writes to the father. Avav pisha ein boy shav pruta. And what does he write there? Even though it's not worth anything, it has no value of the paper. Bitcha mekudeshesli. Bitcha, he's talking to the father. Your daughter is muresesli. Bitcha lili into. Ben alidei avia. Ben alidei atzma. Whether she receives it for her father, or the father receives it, mikudeshes min daitoi. You need the das daitoi zachar. Who? The das of the father. Why? Because she's a ktana. She's a naira. V'shalei bagra. She's not old enough. If he wrote law to the woman herself, not to the father. In other words, we're talking about a begeres, a girl that's above 12 and a half. She's doing it on her own. What did he write? Hariyat mekudeshesli. At, not your daughter. At, you yourself are mekudesh. Hariyat lili into. Yeah? Stop thinking aloud here. There's a lot of times people, it happened to me, here in Eretz Yisrael is something called Zichron Dvarim. Like, how do you say it in English? Like an agreement document. Letter of intent. LOI. Very good. So you want to purchase a piece of real estate here, so you have a deal with the guy and you write up a letter of intent. So as a public service announcement, tell them, do not sign it. Do not sign it unless you have a lawyer, because it's just as strong, it's just as powerful as the actual contract. So you think, it's on a napkin and just writing a couple of things and it locks you in. Fine, because I once read also on Maisa, a guy in Russia, I don't know the end of the story, but the beginning was very cool. A guy in Russia filled out one of those credit card application sheets and he erased a couple of things. He wrote, if you cancel this, you owe me $1 million and the interest rate is minus 1%, you owe me interest. I don't know what he did over there. He changed everything and he sent it back and he was approved. And then he stopped paying his credit card, so they tried to cancel him. He says, okay, you owe me $1 million. So what are you talking about? He said, I wrote it. He says, yeah, but we didn't read it. We get millions of these. He said, but if I don't read it, then you say, you should have read every word. What about you? You're the company. You also have to read it. The end of the Maisa, I don't know what happened. I'm sure he didn't get anything, but it was a good shtick to begin with. You're shaking your head as if like it's what? He's not alive to tell us what happened. Putin sent his guys out there. It turns out it was Putin's credit card company in Shalema Yisrael. Okay. Weiter. So you have to be careful. It says bitcha, it says law. You have to read what it says. Now wait a minute. If she is a begeres, she's 13, 14 years old, how could her father be Mekadesher? No, Judah, what's the teretz? He's a shliach. It goes according to what she wants, not her father anymore. And we're talking about a begeres. Boy, Reb Shimon ben Lakish, Esther Shlakish. Yeah, we just finished Masechtas Gittin and everything has to be l'shma. You have to write a get with the intent of this woman. So what happens if this guy, he was getting engaged to a girl, so he wrote a shtar erison, Harei at mekudeshes li, and she broke the shidduch. She didn't like him, she broke the shidduch. A week later, he's engaged to another person. He says, oh, I already have a shtar. Why should I go to the cipher? Here, it says Harei at mekudeshes. Is that okay or not? He wrote it for Leah and he's marrying Rachel. Havayis li'tzias makshinon. We have a hekesh between a get and Kiddushin. The famous, here, if you want to see it, v'yatzav ha'haisa, it says the two words together when you go out and when you come in. So there's a hekesh between the two. It's ma'itzia being in the shema, just by a get, you need to have in mind for that particular woman. If havaya being in the shema, whole sugya, right? If she has shema k'shema, the whole thing, they have to share the same names. Or dilma, havayis la dali makshina. No, perhaps we should compare the different ways of Kiddushin. How are you mekadesh a woman? Bekesef, b'shtar, b'biyah. Ma vay the kesef lo be'in l'shema. Just like when you mint the coin, says the Gemara, you don't have to have intent for that woman. You can take any money you want. So when you write up the shtar, you don't have to have her intent. Basa the baya, hada pashta, and then the Gemara came up with the conclusion: Havayli tzir makshina. Damakra v'yatzav ha'isa. Well, wasn't that part of the question? That was part of the question. Do we say v'yatzav ha'isa? And the Gemara says, oh, I'll tell you pshat v'yatzav ha'isa. Well, it's more than that. Over here, at least we have a little bit of a pshat, a lot of pshat. The Gemara says, how do you even know that you could use a shtar erusin? How do you even know you could be mekadesh a woman with a shtar? You learn it out from money. So once you learn it out, from Yitzia, once you learn it out from Yitzia, so you learn everything out from Yitzia. If we're learning the whole concept of shtar, we're learning from a get. So now continue learning everything from a get. And don't try to be makish, havai ladal. You should be makish, havai Yitzia. In honor of his uncle, Rebbe Elchanan Bresman, is chus for a year filled with mazel bracha and parnos berevach, and by Greg Haber, bracha parnos haslach brios, his family, Rav Eli, all MD1, and everyone doing the daf. Itmar, ksavay lishma u'shloi medaita. What if you wrote it? You went to the Zeav, you said, so Nachamo, we come out that you need to have lishma when you write the shtar. It has to be for this particular woman. So what if you did it lishma, but you never told her that you're about to be Mekadesher? Surprise. Rav Ravina Amri Mekudeshes, Rav Papa Rav Sharevia Amri Einu Mekudeshes. Machlokes. Amar Papa, Eima time they do. Let me first explain to you what their reasoning is. Ve'eima time they do, then I'll explain to you my reason. Eima time they do, the Siv Yatzav Ha'isa, Makshavai Litzia. There's a hackish between get and Kiddushin. Ma Yitzil L'Shma V'Shloi Medaita. Afavai Nam L'Shma V'Shloi Medaita. You don't have to let her know that you're writing the get. You just give her the get, you surprise her. And what's my reason? You need the das of the person giving. By get, the husband gives. What is he giving? He's giving her her freedom. He's giving her the get so she can be free. He's the one that's giving. The das makna in Kiddushin is the woman. She's giving herself to the husband. So therefore, you need her das. You can't write a shtar erusin, that's what we're talking about. A shtar that creates the first stage of erusin. Vinisuin. Rabbi said, what's a shtar nisuin? Anybody? Anybody ever hear of a shtar nisuin? Ksuba. Okay, so we'll go with ksuba. Ksuba. It's a funny way to say it. Shtar nisuin. Elam dash name. But over here it says mafurish that even if you're writing a shtar, erusin, you need dash neim. It's not enough to have the cipher to write it with the woman in mind. You need the woman to know about it. My love, shtari erusin v'nisuin mamish. And that will be a kash on what we just said, that you don't need her das, according to Rav Papa. Loi shtar psiksa. Edim Kadesh is correct. Yeah. There'll be a kash in the Manda Omer that says, whoever he is, that you don't need her das, and over here you see you do need her das. I just put this in because of law. Over here you see that you need you need her das, because it needs to be for her. And shtari psikta is what we call today, Rashi says, tnaim. Tnaim. What's in the tnaim? Usually it's about money. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Shtari psikta, tnaim. How much are you going to give for your son? The parents are talking. And for your daughter, this amount. Then the children went and they were engaged. Kanu, then the children are kaina what the parents promised. So this father says, I'm going to give a car. This father says, I'm going to give an apartment. And then the chassan gives the ring to the kala and he's mekadesher. Now the chassan and kala, they acquire a house and a car. How do they acquire a house and a car? There's no chalipin, there's no shtar. How does it work? Says the Gemara, unbelievable thing. Hein hadvarim haniknim ba'amira. This is a situation where talking along we had by Shchimra. There's certain situations in life where there's an amira, there's something said, and it's solid stone. You have to keep it. So let's see Rashi inside. Ba'amira. Beloy kinyan. There's no kinyan, there's no chalip, and there's no shtar. Why? Kiddushin hen gemara davar. When the chassan gives the kala the ring, that finishes the whole thing. Why? The bahaya no. To come hadodi gamru makni. Because of this hana that their children are getting married, the fathers are makna, whatever they need to be makna. Says Rashi that the Edim cannot write a shtar. They can't be oiber chachamim and say, you know what, they said it, let's just put it in writing so we know what they said, and let's do them a favor. It's not a favor. The nichalu kimil val peh veloy kimil v'bishtar. Says Rashi, there's a big difference if this was said orally or verbally, or it was written in a document. Because if it's a verbal, then there's no achrayus. You can't come after the real estate. It's whatever he has. If he doesn't have anything, that's it. Farfalin. And then you go into all the halachas of, there's a whole, but if it's written, then you could go after real estate. The chassan could come after his father-in-law. It's happened many times. But there's a big shaila. Could a son be Michael his father? Could he be Michael his shver? Do you need both of them to be Michael? It was given. Certain things were given. A lot of people, they talk big before, and then after the you know what, forget it. I said I'm going to give you an apartment. I was talking to you, I just want you to get married. Now, what, you want to get divorced? What, you're going to stop talking to me? No. 5. Could you be Michael? You cannot be Michael. Okay. Now, if this question sounds familiar, how do you know they could do one of the 3 things to be kind of a woman for Erusin is Bibia? We had this question of Amud Beis. The Gemara is going to address that. The Gemara pretends now that we never discussed this before. Here's the pasuk. Kimotzi is shoyche v'misha bulas bal. Huh? Yeah, exactly. Parshas Kiseitze, Perikov Beis. This week's parsha. So, this woman who's a bu'ulas bal, she's mezana. Now, it could have said that she's a Eishasish. Whatever. However you call it. No, bu'ulas bal. How did she become a Eishasish? Which made her be chayiv misa now because she was mizana through bia, bula's baal. He became her husband through bia. So Shlokish asked Rebbe, what you were disappointed what Rebbe said on Daf Amud Beis from a different word. Uba Allah, another limud. Why do I need a second limud? Bulas Baal. It says Uba Allah. Says I think the first, this is two-step process. First, you give her a ring, and then bia. Kamash malon, that it's on its own, it's also mekadesh. I have a bam kasha. What do you tell me? That the only way bia is koina is through kesef. You need first kesef, then bia. This is also Parsha Shavua. It says ki motzi ish. Where no. Hold on. No, it's this. Is that the pasuk? Let me just see. Oh no, here it is. Okay. Yeah, you see it. You have a naira who's a psula. That's the key word here. She's a psula. She's mizan. Then it says, there's a special misa called skila versus chenek. Because any Eishes in the world that's over an Eishes, she gets chenek. But since she's a naira murasa, she's an engaged naira who's a psula, she gets a different chiyuv misa, skila. Ask the Gemara Bam Kasha, how in the world do you have a naira that's a psula? If she's engaged, and the only way to get engaged is with kesef, and then bia says she's not a psula. And if there's no bia, then she's not engaged. She's not a naira, then you're not chayiv misa at all. How do you have a situation where you're chayiv misa and she's a psula? What's the obvious answer, Rabbi Isai? Oh, shtar, 3 days in a row, Shamshi. Shtar. There's other ways to be mekadesh. She's a naira amurasa through shtar. That's the Gemara's answer. I just thought it's very fascinating. The Mefarshim explain, why is it that a woman who's married gets chenek if she's mizana, and a naira murasa gets skila? The shin time of the cross, sort of. They explain that a woman who's married is very fearful of her husband. She's going to get caught. She has a certain pachad. That pachad lessens her oynish. She gets a lesser oynish skila. Chenek is less than skila. Skila is very severe. You're sitting there in front of everybody without clothing, throwing stones, and it's a slow death. But this naira maraza, she thinks she could go scot-free. She's free. She doesn't know. She hasn't seen her chassid in a year. They live in different cities. So you see from here that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mirachem. When he gives a oynish, he takes into account the tsar the person has when he doesn't have Aveira. It's an unbelievable thing. That's right. I knew you were going to say that. I wasn't waiting for, Dal v'hei. Exactly. You get a less oynish, Zog Gemara. Idag the boil bulahi. She should only get chenek. Idag really boil if he gave kesev and there's no bia lav klumo. It's nothing. Why? Because if you're going to tell me that bia needs kesef, so then what's kesef by itself? If kesef needs bia needs kesef. It can't be that kesef is on its own. It doesn't do anything. So Meila, so they try to tell Abaya, so it says in the pasuk like this: that the Torah considers all bia, even shalei kedarka, unnatural, much like natural in terms of halacha. But now it's a trick, because in terms of halacha, it's bia, but in terms of psula, maybe she's still a psula. It's considered uba'ala, but she's still a psula. We're going to see in a second we have machlokes between Rebbe and Rabbanon whether or not ba'achar stranger, if his bia shalei kedarka is considered that she's still a psula. Aval Baal, if the Baal was boil shaloi kedarka, divrei hakol, everybody agrees, and boil shaloi kedarka, so bula. She is a bula. So nachal. So then the question is, how do you have such a situation? If you don't have such a situation, then we're going back all the way to the beginning. You don't need bulas Baal. You can learn it from ubala. Mahi, what's the machlek? Desanya. By a naira murasa. Yeah, I haven't engaged naira. Bola asara noshim. 10 men were boil her vadaini b'sula, and she's still a b'sula. What does that mean? They're all shalei kedarka. Kulam b'skila. She's considered a naira a b'sula. Rabbi Omer ani harishim b'skila v'kulam b'chenek. After one, she's not considered b'sula anymore, even though it's shalei kedarka. So mela they all get, it's considered regulation. Sish, they all get chenek. So, according to everybody though, in our sugya, according to everybody, this Rebbe in Tanakama will agree that by the husband, he makes her a bula. So mela, your pshat, your talmidim that you try to tell me pshat, that was shaloi kedarka, that's how she remained a b'sula, is not true. Because if she was nival to her husband, because you need kesef and bia, then she's not a psula, even if she was nival shaloi kedarka. There's a naira murasa who's a b'sula because she never had relations with her chassan because the Kiddushin was with shtar. Hayol v'goymer u'moitzi goymer u'machnes. The shtar. All you need in order to divorce a woman is a shtar, is a get. So too, by Kiddushin, all you need is a shtar. Rabbi Yochanan hayu ba'ala my Aveli. Now Rabbi Yochanan, who learns from a different, right? Today we came up with a new pasuk. Bulas Baal. On the Avdalad we had uba'ala. So what does Rabbi Yochanan do with the pasuk uba'ala? Big chiddush, no? Not a chiddush. Like what is the havamina, kind of? You think they could purchase Ama Ivriya with bia. I mean, you're buying basically a cleaning lady, but it's not true because at the end of the day, there is an aspect of marriage in this Ama Ivriya. You could be miyader to your son. You yourself could marry her. So I don't have a havamina maybe, and that's my own little thing. Thinking here. So I need to tell you that she's not nikna bebia. Why? Because you might think you can learn her out from a regular yavama. My yavama sheniknas because of niknas bebia. A regular yavama you can't be kleiner b'kesef. We said if you give her kesef, it's called maimer. It's only the rabbana. But her real kinyan the right says bia. Zusha niknas b'kesef amar via. Purchase her with money and purchase or make her your shivcha or your amar via through money. And it did sheniknas bebia. I'd have such a havamina. Mali Yavama says Gemara, what's the kavachayim b'chlal? She can skuk avei medes. Or Yavama, the reason why she's nikna bebia because she has a deraisa dika band to her Yavam. She can't marry anybody else until they decide what to do. Yibom chalitza. No, soket at the chamina hoy v'kosav im acheres yikach loy. So here, it's talking about the pasuk of im livnoy yadena commission. I love this clock. It's gewaldig. But why does it say I have a countdown of 127 when it's 8:06? Oh, we go to 105, 8:05. Oh, so I can go now 5 minutes over to 8:10. Okay, let's just finish this. You're right. I got to talk to you guys about if the shir is officially ending. We should officially end it at 8:05 or start at 7:10. We gotta get an extra 5 minutes here. You say 7:10 because you guys go. Okay. If you're gonna give, we're talking about a Amivriya. She's a Jewish slave. If you decide to give her over to your son, and then it says she started out not such a good, not on the right foot. She's not a real wife. She's cleaning lady, married the cleaning lady. And then he decides to marry a second wife. So the Torah says you can't treat her differently. You have to keep on giving her what you're mechuyev to give her. But since the Torah says the word acheres, she's like a regular wife. Just like a regular wife. Kesef shtar bia. Bia is one of them. I would think that's why you could be koina mervia bebia. Kamash malon. Hold on. Let's just do one more line. How does he learn this? The extra hey, shma min otarti, he learns two limudim from it. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.